Swap a hat for goggles, a yellow rat for a yellow dinosaur, one redhead friend for another, and you gotta ask, what really is different between Ash and Ty? If, say, Ty were sent to the Pokémon universe instead of the digital world, he may find himself doing as well as Ash does. Maybe even better. So, if Ty became a Pokémon trainer, the question becomes, what kind of team would he have? Let's start with Ty's main partner, his Agumon if you will. I had a hard time choosing between Charmander and Sandshrew. One is a fire-breathing reptile and one is, well, yellow. But I think a shiny Charmander is exactly what we're looking for. With Ember for his Pepper Breath and Slash for his Sharp Claws, shiny Charmander makes a perfect starting Pokemon for Ty. Next, let's give him a Greymon. And what better Pokemon is there than Tyrantrum? A giant T-Rex dragon with a rock-like head? This was a no-brainer. I knew Ty would have this Pokemon before I even knew I'd be doing this video. Tyranitar was a close second, but Tyrantrum is definitely my choice. For Metal Greymon, I think Duraludon is perfect. Both Steel and Dragon, it fits a lot of what we're looking for. It can't fly and doesn't have rocket launchers for pecs, but hey, it's pretty close. Before we pick a War Greymon, I think Ty is in desperate need of more fire types. One that matches his fiery personality and maybe his love of soccer? Cinderace it is. Honestly, what Pokemon better fits Ty than this? The kid plays soccer more than he runs for his life from digital monsters, and he does that a lot. And how could we move on without looking back with fond memories of the first Digimon Ty encountered? Coromon. And I couldn't think of a better Coromon than Hoppip. Cleffa was a close second for this, and I also considered Jigglypuff in its pre-evolution, but Hoppip has the pink color, the leaves are like Coromon's ear things, and they're both weak, but really cute. Finally, there's Ty's mega-level Digimon, War Greymon. This one's the hardest to pick. While my mind immediately goes to a fire type, should it be a fighting type like Infernape? Or maybe a steel type like Aggron? Should I ignore War Greymon and choose a ghost or dark type to represent Skull Greymon, like Dusknoir or Houndoom? No. Ty's War Greymon is none other than Turtonator. Part fire, part dragon, a shield on its back like War Greymon, yellow and red accents, and as we saw in Pokemon Sun and Moon the anime, a courageous and strong Pokemon to boot. There we have it, Ty Kamiya's Pokemon team. A little bit of fire, a little bit of dragon, and just a dash of soccer and sweetness. I'm not sure how competitive he could be with 3 fire types, 3 dragon types, and a Hoppip, but if Ash can fumble his way to 8 badges in the Indigo League, then Ty should have no trouble. Let me know which Pokemon you'd pick for Ty. Would you have included Tyranitar instead of Tyrantrum, Sandshrew instead of Charmander, or scrap all of my terrible ideas and have 6 completely different choices? And also, let me know if you'd like me to do the other Digidestined and brainstorm Pokemon teams for them. I have a few ideas for Matt already. Deep in the dark cave, after days spent walking, and even more days huddled in fear, Matt's eyes open. The darkness begins to fade away. And it turns out, the cave wasn't a metaphor for depression, but instead a handy-dandy portal to the Pokemon world. How convenient! Since we took the time to imagine Ty Kamiya as a Pokemon trainer, why not do the same thing for everyone's favorite bad boy Digidestined, Yamato Ishida. Matt's team is a little less obvious than Ty's, but I think I've got it down. His Gabumon, a reptilian-like monster with fur and fluffy accents, is a Wartortle. Though not a Pokemon I would have initially pegged for Matt, the more I think about it, the better it fits. Not only does he visually remind me of Gabumon, but the fact that Ty starts with a Charmander line and Matt has a Pokemon in the Squirtle line just feels like it works perfectly. Throw on an Ice Beam or Scald for Gabumon's Blue Blaster, and Wartortle is a perfect start for Matt. Garurumon is next, and my choice is going to be a bit of a shock, but I think the perfect Pokemon is Furfrou. I know, a poodle for Matt's giant wolf Digimon? I've gotta be crazy. Wouldn't a wolf Pokemon like Mightyena be a better fit? Well, I think normal Furfrou is a bad choice, but Furfrou in its Lorraine form, with trim to match Garurumon's color, is a perfect fit. I also think this Pokemon fits with Matt's overall pretty boy aesthetic really well. Next is Were-Garurumon, and I'm not going to draw this out. This was an obvious one to me. It's clearly Lucario. This Pokemon fits Matt way too well, especially if it Mega Evolves. I mean, come on, does that not scream Where Garurumon? Or should I say Howl? Just as before, let's save the Mega level Digimon for the end and add a few more Pokemon that fit Matt's personality. Firstly, as Matt goes on to become a rock musician, I had to include Obstagoon. Toxicity was a close second, but Obstagoon not only matches the rock star aesthetic, but is also another carnivorous mammal-like Pokemon, and I think Matt should absolutely have a dark type on his team. Next, considering the Digi-Egg of Friendship creates the lightning-flinging Digimon Raidramon? We need an electric Pokemon, and I'm choosing Luxray. Anyone surprised by this choice? No one? Yeah, me either. Next to Lucario, Luxray was the first Pokemon that came to mind when I was thinking of Matt. Finally, Matt's Mega Digimon, Metal Garurumon, is kind of a tough one to pick. If I was including legendary Pokemon, Cobalion would be my first choice. But I think a legendary Pokemon would be a bit much, so do I go with an Ice type like Alolan Ninetales, or an Ice Electric type like Arctozolt? I think a Steel type is what we need, so let's go with Aggron. Initially I was gonna pick Lairon because it's on all four legs like Metal Garurumon, but I just couldn't have a Mega level Digimon be represented by a Pokemon that isn't even fully evolved. And there we have it, Yamato Ishida's Pokemon team. We have Fighting, Dark, Steel, Water, Electric, and I gave most of them Ice-type moves to showcase the huge variety the Crest of Friendship Digimon have. What do you think of my choices? And what would you have picked for everyone's favorite bad boy Matt? Let me know in the comments, and keep your eyes open for our next Digidestined video, which will be for Sora. Who has traveled through the multiverse, run from all manner of beasts and monsters, looked into the abyss and almost lost hope, and who is powered by love, the light of our life, Sora! No, the other Sora. Digidestined Sora may not have a Keyblade, but just like that Sora, she's traveled worlds, stood her ground against massive enemies, and nearly gave into darkness before being empowered by love. And today we're giving her a Pokemon team, for literally no other reason than because I like Pokemon and Digimon. Let's start. What if Sora was a Pokemon trainer? As we've done in our past videos, let's start with Sora's most iconic partner, her rookie Digimon Biyomon. There are two choices in my mind, Oricorio and Spritzy. Both are pink birds, and that's about it. A pink thing with wings and a beak are all we really need here. I guess it just comes down to preference between these two, but I'd rather go with Oricorio, because I like it. Next, Sora needs a Birdramon, a fire-flinging giant bird with sharp claws. There's a lot of great choices here, but I'm gonna go with a Heatwave packing Pidgeot. A bird with fire-type moves feels more appropriate at this stage. We'll get to the fire types in just a second. And that second is now. For Sora's ultimate Digimon, Garudamon, I'm going with the obvious choice, Blaziken. Convince me there's a better choice here, and I'll buy you a copy of Pokemon Master Trainer, the Pokemon board game that is awful, but that I can't stop talking about. As is tradition at this point, we will leave her Mega Digimon for last and choose two other Pokemon that fit who Sora is. Ever since Gen 6 came out, I thought this Pokemon was a perfect representation of the art of flower arranging, something Sora loves to do. Her next Pokemon is Florges. Florges board. Beautiful and graceful, and representing something Sora loves more and more as she grows up. Next, I think Sora needs a Pokemon that epitomizes her role as the original Digidestined's mother figure, the one who kept her cool and worked to keep the gang together as best she could. And what Pokemon better embodies that than Kangaskhan? This one feels perfect. And finally, her Mega level Digimon, who is finally seen in Digimon Tri, Phoenixmon. Now, hear me out. Phoenixmon screams Ho-Oh or Moltres, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. But giving Sora legendary feels a bit much, just like how I didn't give Matt Cobalion, even though it felt like a good fit. So let's rule them out for now, and go with basically the non-legendary version of these birds. Talonflame. Considering how strong Talonflame is, it's not that far away from a legendary, but still. I honestly couldn't imagine Sora's team without this Pokemon. And there we have it, Sora's Pokemon team. Mainly birds and flying types, but with plenty of grace and firepower. Which sounds like a perfect summary of Sora. Comment below if you think there are better choices for Sora, and keep your eyes open for our next Digidestined Izzy, and also other videos about things and sometimes stuff. Koshiro Izumi, but we know him as Izzy, is the undeniable brains of the original Digidestined group. Not many have a laptop with them when they're stranded in another world, but Izzy wouldn't have had it any other way. and today we're giving that lovable nerd a Pokemon team. If Pokemon exists in this universe, I bet Izzy does play Pokemon, so he'd love this. As always, let's begin by giving him a Tentomon. Can't have Izzy without a flying red bug. And in Pokemon there are a few great options here. Orbeetle and Lediba are the two obvious choices for me. Both could fit perfectly, so it's really just preference. I'm gonna go with Lediba because I've always had a soft spot for this Pokemon. Competitively, it's so bad, but I still just love it. For Kabuterimon, again, there's great choices. Pokemon is not lacking in the bug department. The main choices for me are Heracross and Vikavolt. I may be blinded by my Gen 2 love, but I'm gonna go with Heracross. I've loved this Pokemon ever since Ash caught one when first entering the region of Johto. Mega Kabuterimon is where I feel like you have to start getting creative. Originally I considered Buzzwole, but I'm not sure how great of a fit this Pokemon is for Izzy. In the end, I prefer a shiny Armaldo. Not only does this look a bit like Mega Kabuterimon, but giving a nerd like Izzy a fossil Pokemon just feels correct to me. Saving the Mega for the end, let's give Izzy two more Pokemon that fit his personality and interests. Izzy isn't all about bug monsters, he also loves computers. So let's give him a computer monster. I couldn't imagine him without a Metagross. This Pokemon is literally a living computer. If Izzy had a Metagross by his side, he could have hacked his way out of the digital world in no time. Next, I can't believe we've gone this far without an electric Pokemon. I'm a little embarrassed by that, and I can't abide by it any longer. Izzy needs an electric Pokemon, and the perfect one, I believe, is Xurkitree. The perfect Pokemon to charge his laptop and then fling electroshockers. Finally, reaching Tentomon's seldom seen Mega, who was one of my favorite Digimon cards I owned for my entire childhood, and my inner child died finally seeing this Digimon on screen, Hercules Kabuterimon. For his Mega, I definitely think the best choice is Mega Pinsir, and I'm not the only one who thought so. This Pokemon literally looks just like Hercules Kabuterimon. I can't not choose this. There we have it, a Pokemon team made to terrify Misty. But his team also has plenty of power, strategy, and brains. He's got a literal supercomputer. That's perfect for Izzy. Stay tuned for the next Digidestined in this series, Mimi, and other videos that I may or may not release on schedule. We need a girl with fashion sense, a good heart, a beautiful singing voice, and the ability to love plant-based monsters. Let's go with that girl. It's Mimi time! The metropolitan, fashionable, and sincere member of the Digidestined is finally about to get herself a Pokemon team. One that fits her personality and matches her partner and best friend, and her outfit. Let's start with her iconic rookie-level partner and find Mimi a Palmon. And while there are countless grass Pokemon we could choose from, what I've decided on is one I'm a little proud of. I wanted a Pokemon that had the same green and pink color scheme of Palmon, while not shying away from her floral and amphibian looking design. And what I decided on was Ivysaur. But not just any Ivysaur. This Ivysaur is half shiny and half normal. Shiny Ivysaur's skin is a very similar color to Palmon, but the normal Ivysaur's flower is a similar color to Palmon's. So I merged the two to create what I think is the perfect Palmon Pokemon. Togemon is up next, and there are surprisingly a lot of good options for a giant boxing cactus. Maractus and Cacturne immediately come to mind, and while either could be a good fit, especially Maractus, I'm gonna go with Hitmonchan. All of these three are good options, but I'm gonna lean towards Togemon's fighting spirit and boxing talent for this choice. Lilymon is next. The ultimate level form of Palmon, seen first against Dark Tyrannomon, which was really late in the series if you ask me, has, just like the others, a lot of good choices. But to make things easier, I'm gonna narrow it down to just Lilligant and Serena. As both are good choices, it does come down to preference, but I think the obvious choice is Lilligant. It looks like Lilymon, it's the same flower, the same vibe, and feels like a perfect Pokemon for Mimi's personality too. I could do the Mega level Digimon now, but I won't, and instead give Mimi two other Pokemon that fit who she is. First off, Mimi needs a Pokemon that represents her style. Hatterene may be wearing a hat just like Mimi, but you know what's even better? A Pokemon that looks like her hat. So I'm gonna go with Vivillon. But this Pokemon has other great qualities besides looking like Mimi's iconic hat. As a Pokemon that changes depending on where on the planet it's evolved into, I think it also fits how Mimi's style changes drastically throughout the series, like when she moves to America. Next, how about a Pokemon that showcases Mimi's singing ability? Initially, I was gonna go with Smoochum, but I think a better choice is Politoed. Not only does this represent Mimi's singing ability, as Politoed is a known vocalist among the amphibian Pokemon community, but also harkens back to her time as the queen of the Otamamon and Geckomon. All hail Queen Mimi! And last but not least, it's time to find Mimi a Rosemon. One of the coolest Mega level Digimon around, if you ask me. And I'd like to say there are a lot of great choices, and I struggled to pick one, but let's be real. Rosemon is obviously going to be Roserade. In what universe would I not choose the iconic Rose Pokemon for Mimi's Mega? And there we have it. With all of these flowers and sweet scent on Vivillon, this is probably the best smelling Pokemon team ever. But there's also a lot of power, beauty, and the ability to heal and aid others, which is exactly what Mimi would look for in a Pokemon team. Comment below if there are other great options for Mimi. I mean, I know there are a ton. I was this close to including Pokemon like Smoochum, Maractus, Hatterene, and Comfey, but alas, we're limited to only 6. Stay tuned for the next Digidestined in this series, Joe. Every group of extra-dimensional monsters and kids needs someone like Joe. Someone to be responsible, reasonable, and to focus on safety. To the original Digidestined, Joe Keto was the one to keep them organized and together, for the most part. And today, we're giving that neurotic scaredy cat a Pokemon team. He deserves it after spending seemingly all of his non-digital world time studying. Poor guy. Let's start with his iconic rookie-level partner Gomamon. The wisecracking aquatic little buddy has a few good Pokemon equivalencies. Wailmer, Spheal, Seal, and Satoodle all stand out to me as great options. I don't know why, but Wiglet gives me Gomamon vibes too. But I'm gonna go with the obvious choice and give Joe Keto a Seal. He's basically Gomamon's twin, but with less style. Ikakumon is next, and one Pokemon immediately jumped out to me as a perfect choice. Glacia's iconic ace from Gen 3, Walrein. The giant walrus just needs a Narwhal-style horn, and it'd be a dead ringer for Ikakumon. Zudomon strikes next. The massive hammer-wielding, lightning-flinging beast is a tough one to find a Pokemon equivalent for. Do I go with a fighting type like Machamp or Girder? Or maybe a water-steel type like Empoleon? All good choices, but I think I'm gonna go with the literal Viking Pokemon, Berserker. The steel type matches the hammer-focused attacks of Zudomon, and the gray coloring matches Joe's crest too. It's also, like I said, literally the Viking Pokemon. That's too perfect. Time for Joe to get 2 other Pokemon that evoke who he is as a person. Pokemon that scream nerdy, responsible, concerned, and terrified. First, there's one Pokemon that, don't ask me why, screams Joe Keto to me. I don't understand it exactly, but Mr. Rhyme for some reason checks all the boxes for me. An ice and psychic type, proper, put together, and a gentleman. It seems like a perfect fit for Joe. Next, we need a Pokemon that is all about support. Joe spends most of the series supporting the group and trying to help any way he can. I feel like Slowking, Audino, and Oranguru could all easily fit in with Joe's team. Psychic, water, normal types that can all heal and support. But which do I choose? This is a tough one as I love all of these choices for Joe, so I'm literally gonna just roll a die. 1 to 2 is Slowking, 3 to 4 is Audino, and 5 to 6 is Oranguru. Dimension the dice! Okay, bam! Joe is getting an Oranguru. Lastly, it's time for Joe's seldom seen Mega Digimon, Vikemon. Seen for the first time in Digimon Tri, one Pokemon really fits the bill for me, and it isn't just a second Berserker. It's a Lapras, but not a normal Lapras, Gigantamax Lapras. The huge water and ice type evokes the feeling of Vikemon's presence and overwhelming size and power perfectly, and feels like the correct final form to the cute little Gomamon. And there we have it, Joe Keto's Pokemon team. Though there were a lot of great options I wish I could have included, like Empoleon, Slowking, Audino, and even Crabominable, I'm pretty happy with the final team. Let me know what Pokemon you would pick for Joe in a comment below, and stay tuned for the next Digidestined in this series, TK. When I was a kid, I have vivid memories of other kids making fun of TK for crying a lot in the show. But I'd like to see those losers deal with being transported to another world, let alone one filled with monsters. For a kid expecting to have a summer at camp with his brother, who was separated from him because of a messy divorce, TK handled himself very well, and saved everyone's butts countless times, crying or not. So let's give that little crybaby turned hero a Pokemon team. Let's go. As always, we begin with our Digidestined's iconic rookie partner, Patamon. And this, as will be the case for a lot of TK's Digimon, is kind of a difficult one to pick. While my mind first went to Jigglypuff or Drifloon to match Patamon's balloon-like qualities, my mind also went to Dedenne and Teddiursa for the color and cuteness, but I actually decided to go with Pawmi. While he does simply look a bit like Patamon, I also chose the electric type because of a move its evolution can learn, Revival Blessing. Being able to revive and save other Pokemon feels perfectly in line with the angelic potential of the cute little Patamon. Next is Angemon, and this is where the difficulties become apparent. There aren't a ton of human-like Pokemon, unlike Digimon, so we need to get very creative with our choices here. I'm gonna submit to you what can only be described as a very creative choice. Dunsparce. Wait, don't go. Trust me, I think this actually works. Dunsparce may look like an ugly duckling angel, but it's that very reason I think he makes a perfect Angemon. Dunsparce may not be as beautiful as Angemon, but it fits TK's color scheme, has the ability Serene Grace, and is also a monster inspired by something mythical. In this case a Tsuchinoko, not an angel, but still. Who better evokes hope than a Pokemon I always hoped would have good things happen to it? Also, it has cute little angel wings. Come on, Dunsparce needs this. We can't take this moment from him. Next is Magna Angemon, and don't worry, I'm not going to just choose the Dunsparce. With his sword and gallant rescue of all the other Digidestined during the Dark Masters arc, I think a perfect Pokemon for Magna Angemon would be Gallade, a sword-wielding hero who appears to save the day when everyone least expects it. Before we move on to the Mega, and also before we give TK a Pokemon that fits his personality, we have to give him one that fits his soon-to-be Armor Digimon, Pegasusmon. His iconic partner during Digimon Adventure 2, Pegasusmon saved the gang from many a Dark Spiral Digimon. And I think the perfect Pokemon equivalent would be a shiny Galar Rapidash. Unlike normal Rapidash, the Galar regional variant showcases Pegasusmon's fairy and angelic qualities much more strongly, and the shiny feels more in line with TK's general color scheme too. As for a Pokemon that matches who TK is, there are a lot of choices. We could give him an Umbreon or Volbeat as he lights up the group. We could give him something cute like Growlithe or Fidough. We could give him a flying type like Woobat or Altaria. But I have an odd choice that I think fits perfectly. Silvally. This Pokemon, like TK, is full of surprises. It's powerful, versatile, and like Patamon each time it digivolves, Silvally evolves from type Null thanks to friendship and the trust its partner has in it. While I usually shy away from giving legendary Pokemon, the importance of Silvally's bond with its trainer feels like a perfect representation of TK and Patamon's connection and the power it can create. Finally, it's time for TK's Mega. Seraphimon first appeared in the first Digimon movie, or the third Digimon movie if you follow the original Japanese version. And though an armored blue Pokemon like Ceruledge could work, or a legendary like Ultra Necrozma, I think we need something that evokes Seraphimon's angelic aura. That's why I'm choosing Mega Absol. Though a dark type, its angelic wings, power, and presence feel like a perfect final form for Patamon. And what better represents the crest of hope than the disaster Pokemon? The Pokemon who comes down from the mountains to warn humans to keep them safe from catastrophe. This just feels right to me. And there we have it, TK's Pokemon team. It's definitely the most random team I've put together yet, but as I look at them all together, I can't help but feel like it works. There's a lot of different types, but each evoke the importance of balance, trust, friendship, and keeping hope alive. Let me know what Pokemon you would pick for TK in a comment below, and stay tuned for the final Digidestined of the original 8, Kari. Oh, I guess that's a spoiler if you haven't for some reason seen the anime up until the end of the Myotismon arc. Oh well, it's been out for decades. You had your chance. Kari is the 8th Digidestined. The greatest mystery Digimon ever put forward. Who is the 8th Digidestined? Could it be Sato, Mimi's mother? Or what about Shin, Joe's brother? Or Charlie from Fuji TV? Or maybe it's Chumon and his Digimon partner Sukamon? There are so many potential Digidestined. It certainly isn't Kari, because that would be way too obvious, but... Oh, it is Kari? Huh, yeah. Looking back, I guess there really wasn't any mystery here. But whether it was obvious she was a Digidestined or not, Kari is about to get her very own Pokemon team. One to match her Digimon partner, personality, and the Crest of Light's power. But since we're not in a ROM hack and the Light type doesn't exist, I had to get a little creative with some of these choices. While we're still starting with Kari's partner Gatomon, in this case we aren't starting at the rookie stage, but the champion. Gatomon is the fiercest little champion Digimon around. Poor Salamon always gets ignored. And today is no different. Bye Salamon, see you never. Gatomon has a ton of great choices. Pokemon doesn't skimp on the kitty cats, and I will always love them for that. While my mind first went to Meowth, I think we need an evolved Pokemon to highlight Gatomon's champion status, which is why I'm going with Meowstic, and a shiny one at that. Both of these magical cats carry a lot of power in those paws. Next up is Angelwoman, Gatomon's ultimate form, and mirroring our choice for Patamon's ultimate Magna Angemon, Gallade, we're giving Kari Gardevoir. This was an obvious choice, as Gardevoir has all of Angelwoman's grace and poise, and seeing as how Gardevoir is a champion's ace, she's no pushover in battle either. Next is a Pokemon to represent Kari's armor Digimon, Nefertimon, seen throughout Digimon Adventure 2, carrying Kari across the digital world and throwing Rosetta Stones at people. Nefertimon is a powerful but mystical Digimon. And while there are a lot of big cats in the Pokemon world, I think the best Pokemon here is more cat-like. I'm giving Kari an Espeon. The Psychic type matches Nefertimon's general color scheme, mystery, and power gem is a perfect stand-in for Rosetta Stone. The next two Pokemon I'm giving Kari represent who she is, but do so by showcasing her powerful connection to many kinds of Digimon. In the Dark Masters arc, Kari forms a strong bond with a group of Numamon. And what better represents this connection than a shiny Muck? With Muck by her side, no one will question that Kari is the queen of the Numamon. Next, in Digimon Adventure 2's darkest but ultimately most abandoned plotline, Kari became trapped in the Dark Ocean and nearly became overcome by its evil influence. How Dragomon nearly overpowered her mind and made her give in to its ghostly, haunting influence was a very scary part of the series. This Cthulhu-like plot never ended up returning within the season, but it still left a big impact on me. Which is why, to represent Kari's near fall to the Dark Ocean, I'm giving her a Jellicent. Representing the ghostly power of the ocean and Kari's queenly presence there, Jellicent feels like a perfect addition to the team. And last but not least, seen alongside Seraphimon in the Digimon movie, is Gatomon's Mega form, Magnadramon. This fluffy dragon was an unexpected evolution to Angelwoman, but considering Salamon is her rookie, a Falcor-like dragon actually makes a lot of sense. And there happens to be a perfect Falcor-like Pokemon, Drampa. This one came to mind immediately, and I honestly don't think there could be a better option unless Drampa's shiny was pink. It isn't, but still, the perfect Pokemon to represent Kari's Mega level Digimon is this normal dragon. And there we have it, Kari's Pokemon team. They're Psychic, Fairy, Dragon, and a lot of pink. If that doesn't describe the Crest of Light owner's Pokemon team, then toss me in the Dark Ocean. With Kari complete, I finally finished all 8 original Digidestined. Let me know in the comments if I should continue into Digimon Adventure 2 and give Davis, Yoli, Cody, and Ken Pokemon teams too. Thanks for watching!